Welcome back, everyone, to the podcast. It sucks to have a heart. Today is a very special episode because if you're watching us on screen on our YouTube channel, you'll see that I have a beautiful guest. I have the one and only Shabnam Rakim. How are you,
Hi.
Shabi?
I'm very good and I'm super excited to be here with you on this podcast. And I love the name. Sucks to have a heart.
I
I'm
got
just
a lot of criticism about the name, but I'm glad you like it. We have known each other since what, October of last year? Since we
yeah,
met on the show.
October last year. Yes, exactly.
I was super
On that show.
intimidated on that show. Yeah. I was super intimidated and super scared. And you were maybe the first person to like be super nice to me and super kind to me. So I think that's why we like almost immediately became friends.
Yes, we attracted each other because I was like, I was feeling the same. And when I saw you, remember I told you you look like a copy paste of my best friend from Bahrain.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that like literally drawn me to you. I was like, oh, my bestie is here.
You're like a reincarnation of my best friend is
And your
here.
energy was amazing. You were so supportive. You were
Aw.
so supportive. I remember like when we had the competitions and stuff, I remember you would come to me all the time and be like, Shabi, so what are you doing? Do you know what you're doing? Do you need any help? And I was like, this guy, I mean, everyone's just super stressed, thinking, oh, what am I creating? What am I doing? Thinking for themselves. And
Yeah.
he's like so chill and he comes to me, he's like, Shabi, do you need any help? Are you ready? I was like, he's just the sweetest person I've ever met
Aw.
in my life.
Aw, thank you. So,
Yeah.
Shabi, I know about you, and I've had the pleasure of being your friend for a while, for close to a year now. We're approaching a year. But for the people who maybe don't know, can you give us a quick backstory about who Shabi is?
I feel like this is the hardest question of my life because I don't really know who I am sometimes. I'm like a chameleon, you know? I keep changing with the seasons, phases. So I'm always a different person. If you asked me this question last year, I
Mm,
would be a different person. The answer would be different. But today, think um, with all the new stuff that is happening in my life, I would say I'm a model.
okay,
First, I'll start. I'm Shabi. I'm Afghani Persian. I was born and raised in Uzbekistan, then lived half of my life in the Gulf and the Middle East. And here I started modeling, content creating. Um, I work with Sephora. I'm their ambassador, like you are. And now I'm also a TikToker, a storyteller,
I
and I'm getting
see.
into psychology.
I want to ask you about
By
that
the
because
end
I
of this
saw
year, I'm gonna get a certificate.
a
Yeah,
certificate. We need to talk about that. We need to
yeah.
talk about that.
I'm gonna be a life coach.
So, Shabna, you just said that you are a fashion model. I mean, you are obviously a very beautiful person, but you're also beautiful on the inside. So, I actually have two questions that I really want to
Thank
rack
you.
your brain around. So, when did you, I guess the first question is, when did you start modeling or how did you get into that world? That's my first question. And I guess, sort of like a follow up is, do you feel yourself being underestimated a lot because of maybe your looks or your profession or just in the industry?
Okay, so well, I started modeling in Kazakhstan. I moved to Kazakhstan,
Mm.
and one of my classmates, she was like, "You have to start modeling. I know this agency is the best in town." So basically, she showed my picture to the owner of the agency, and then they called me in for a casting, and that was very embarrassing because my mom came with me to the casting, and I
Oh,
was already 18. Yes, and it was all the girls, the models, everyone was just so independent and like grown-up girls. And I was the only one with my mom. Back then, at that time, I was grade 11 in school, so my parents didn't really want me to work, so it was really, really hard for me to convince them to take me to that casting. It was just like, I'm gonna take you to casting, but doesn't mean that you can start modeling, okay? And my parents were also kind of strict because of the culture, our mentality. So modeling was like never an option for me. Like my parents, I thought at that time they would never accept it. So I just started modeling there. In the beginning, it was secretly. After that casting, they picked me for one of the biggest fashion shows in that city at that time.
okay.
I did the fashion show. My mom came to watch how the process is, and she like realized like really actually nothing bad about it. She's not wearing revealing clothes. There are not many guys on set or whatever. So she was like, okay, you can do modeling. But sometimes I would just, like pretend like I'm going to school and instead of that, go to the shoot or something.
And you'd go to a photo, you'd skip
Yes,
school
I've
to go
done
to a
that.
photo shoot?
Yes,
Oh
because that
my
was the
God.
only time when my parents wouldn't know where I am. They would think, oh, she's at school. And I really wanted to do the photo shoot. So I would just pretend like I'm going to school and actually go to the photo shoot. Imagine. And it was not even for the money or anything. I was genuinely just enjoying being
Of
on
course.
set.
Of course. Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That is so shabby.
Yeah. So then I stopped modeling. I moved to China for my uni. And while I was in China for my uni, I was never actually taking modeling like really serious. It was just something that I enjoyed for fun. But I was always thinking like I need to have a proper job, I need to have a proper profession, I have to be into business because my parents, my dad always wanted to me to like follow his steps. Yeah.
Mm, mm.
So I was more focused on business. At that time, I had my small online shop where I was like selling clothes and like bags and accessories from China, from Vietnam, and selling that in Kazakhstan. So I was more focused on that. And I would do modeling sometimes, like part time. So then that's a very, very long story, but somehow I ended up in Bahrain. I moved to Bahrain. I was visiting a friend actually for just 2 weeks. And while I was there, I was like, let me just do some photo shoots for fun while my friend is busy, like get some nice pictures for my Instagram. I just opened my Instagram at that time. It was like 2016 or 2017. So I
Okay.
was just looking for photographers to collaborate with. So I messaged some photographers on Instagram. I literally like went on Instagram and started searching like Bahrain photographer.
Okay. Okay.
So I found Mohammed Vivid, and he is one of the most like the famous photographers here in the Gulf. So I messaged him. I couldn't believe that this person is real. He asked me to send him this video, which was very funny because he wanted to see if I'm not a fake person. So the video was basically, "Hi, Mohammed." My accent was so bad back then, so I was like, "Hi, Mohammed
Hi,
Vivid.
Mohammed.
I'm Shabi. I'm
Okay.
model. I'm here in Bahrain."
Okay. Okay. Because
Yeah, so
he,
then we did one shoot, and I thought it was just a shoot for fun. So he booked me a shoot with a makeup artist. He was like, okay, this is a makeup artist. You're gonna go to her, she's gonna do your makeup, and then you come to the studio and we'll do the photo shoot. So I
okay.
agreed, and then the makeup artist started asking me, like, oh, how much do I pay you? I was like, pay me?
Pay me.
Wow, that's interesting. I was like, that's interesting. That's very unexpected. Okay. And I was like, but I don't really know how much to charge you, like how much people charge here and stuff. I was like, you tell me what's the comfortable price for you. And she gave me the price. And comparing to like the Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan money, it was big money to be honest. And I was like,
Okay.
wow, she's willing to pay me this much for
Exactly.
just doing my makeup and taking some pictures. I was like, okay, this sounds fun. And then the same guy, Mohammed Vivid, he booked me for the whole 2 weeks. I would have like two, three, four, five shoots sometimes. And then I realized the price that she gave me was like not even like it was nothing. Okay. So it was like the lowest. I was also happy with that. So then I increased my prices too. And I was
Okay. Okay.
fully booked for 2 weeks. People would text me on Instagram, be like, sorry, I'm traveling, I'm going back home. And they'll be like, please, no, you have to stay. And I was really enjoying the job. I loved Bahrain and I became friends with those people that I was working with. I didn't feel like I'm going to work. It felt like more of like, oh, I'm just hanging out with my friends,
That's cool.
creating, doing fun stuff. And I'm also getting paid for that. So I traveled back home. It took me only 2 weeks, and then I was like, no, I'm going back to Bahrain. I loved it so much. I made so much amazing friends there. I was like, this is my place. I have to be there. So this is how I moved to Bahrain and I started modeling full time. But back then I was doing more of beauty photo shoots, beauty modeling. So it was
Okay.
like makeup, hairstyles, maybe bridals and stuff. The past few years, like 4 or 5 years, I'm more into fashion
Okay.
modeling.
Okay. Okay. And I remember you told me that you had a very at some
Hmm.
point you had a very busy life in Bahrain. Like you found yourself in a new country that you never expected to live in. And not only are you living there, but it's a whole new life. It's a whole new career. And like every day you don't have time for yourself because it's just like work after work after work. So That must have felt amazing.
It felt amazing, but at some point I started getting anxieties and panic attacks and stuff because, like modeling is people think it's very easy, but it's actually a lot of physical work. And then you need a lot of confidence because sometimes when you see your picture and you feel like, oh, I don't look like myself on this picture, or I wish I looked better on this picture, or like, oh, what's happening with my nose? Why is my nose so big? Why are my I think my lips should be bigger. So it was a lot of that. And then also I reached a point where like my pictures were literally every 2, 3 meters on the highway, on all the highways in Bahrain. So my picture was literally everywhere. So, and Bahrain is very small, yeah? So everywhere I would go, people would know me. Like people will look at me. I would feel like they are looking at me and they're saying something, they're talking about me. So I constantly felt like I was being watched and I was being judged. Maybe that was not the case, but it was my insecurities.
Of course, of
So I
course.
always was like very hard on myself. I was trying to perfect myself. I was trying to be the best in everything. I was like, even if I go to like a coffee shop to have coffee, I would, like pick the table in the corner and make sure all my friends sit in front of me, so I'm hidden. Like I wouldn't
Yeah,
even tell my friends that
yeah.
this is the case. This is what I'm doing. This I would like wear hoodies and stuff because I was just like I don't have the energy to be perfect right now.
Yes, yes,
And I
yes.
was like so insecure. And this started giving me anxieties, panic
Oh,
attacks. And plus the thing that
how
I
old
was
were
like
you?
always ranked as like the top model of Bahrain now.
That were you then when this started happening in like Bahrain?
I moved to Bahrain when I was 22. I think the peak of my like all this, what I'm telling you now, like the anxieties and panic attacks, it was like 23, 24.
Oh, that's so young.
Yeah, so that was like 23, 24, and like my panic attacks were so bad. I literally had to take those, the meds, the antidepressants.
Yeah, antidepressants. Yeah,
I had it for one day and I couldn't. It just like it's so scary. Like you can't even leave your bed. I had to
yeah.
crawl to the bathroom to
Oh
shower,
my God.
to like yeah, I was like literally like that. And my friends
Oh,
like were there for me and I'm so grateful that I had them. They helped me a lot. And then one of my friends convinced me to start yoga and meditation.
okay, okay.
And this is how everything got fixed,
That
basically. But
that's
my
amazing.
insecurities, like I'm telling you, right? You said, like, do you think it's easy to be a model in this industry? No, it's actually not. If you're not working on yourself, on your confidence, it can really take you to like either the wrong places or it can be harmful. It can be hard
I can only
basically. I
imagine.
even reached the point at some point in my life I was thinking that, oh my God, I need to get Botox, I need to get fillers, I need to get a nose job or something. Because
Oh,
also this Photoshop thing or the makeup, like when they put makeup, sometimes like certain makeup change the way you look, and then you see the picture and you don't really look like yourself after the Photoshop, after all of this makeup. And you start building even more insecurities like, why do I look like this on the picture? Am I not photogenic enough? Or like, what's going on? Is this like really how I look like? And then it's hard for you to separate like the actual image of yourself from
yes,
this
yes,
picture.
yes. Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
if the makeup just doesn't suit your face, like nowadays, since I do the fashion photography, the makeup we do on my face is like very, very minimal. So this was also like the choice why I decided to start like focus on fashion photography more, fashion modeling more than beauty, because like it's where I can be more of myself.
Yeah, I totally get you. And I remember when we first met and you were talking to me about your career because I was just so interested and so curious. And I'll never forget, I asked you, Shabi, you have so much talent and you're so good at what you do. Why haven't you pursued like an international
Thank
career in
you.
modeling? And your response, I will never forget what you said. You're like, I feel like here people are a bit more just respectful and sensitive to you as a human, especially to you as a woman. If you feel like
Yes.
people here respect boundaries more.
Yeah, true. Like, maybe at some certain age of my life, I thought, yes, I would want to work in Paris, I would want to work in London. But what I'm feeling now, I would never choose money or like job over my well-being over my comfort. Even like now, today, if I choose a project that I will work on, it will be
Mm,
something that I'm comfortable with. It
mm.
will be definitely the team that I'm comfortable to work with. If I don't like the team, there is no way I'm going back and doing the shoots again with the same team, with the brand, if I was not treated nicely as a human. Like, I'm not trying to say like treat me as a celebrity or anything, but just treat me as a human
Of
being,
course.
not like a
Of course.
mannequin or something. Because
Of
it happened
course.
a few times to me when I was like at the shoot in Abu Dhabi. And back then I was just only modeling in Dubai. So they flew me in from Bahrain to Abu Dhabi. And the team, they were all from the UK. And oh my God, the way they treated me, I cried like 5 times during the photo shoot. The
What?
photo shoot was like 13 hours outside in the heat. And just the way they would talk to me, the way they would treat me, it was just like, like comparing Bahrain treatment to the treatment I got there from this, from that crew. I was just like, what is going on? I was not ready for this. And like during the photo shoot, I cried like 5 times. I was trying to leave, but the it was just like a very nice agent that I had. So she convinced me to stay. She was like, I'm gonna talk to them. I'm really sorry. So she was comforting me. So I was like, okay, it's fine. I'm gonna finish the shoot, but I'm never working with this client ever again. I don't even care how much they're gonna pay me.
I can only imagine because like when you're modeling for something, when you're modeling for like whatever the client may be, I feel like if I were a fashion model, it's not just looking good, you have to feel good. So if you're making me uncomfortable, if you're making me like anxious and like twitchy and like I'm in my own bubble and I start to get into my own head, that's going to affect the way I do my job. So it's really weird
Exactly.
that's weird.
Yeah. Nowadays, I try to be 100% myself. Like even for example, I come to the shoot and I have some tattoos, right? So
Mm,
if the client is asking to cover my tattoos, I will not even agree to that because I'll be like, this is me. I'm the
okay,
girl with the tattoos.
good
You're
for you.
booking me, then you have to work with this. If you want someone without tattoos, go book someone without tattoos. But this is me. This is part of me. I'm not covering it.
Good for you. Well, that's awesome.
Not changing my hair color. I mean, unless I want to do it.
That's incredible. So Shabi, I feel like we have to talk about your recent growth on TikTok. I am so happy to see that you're growing really well on TikTok. And I think that's
Thank you.
something that should be a lesson to so many people. It's like people want content that's relatable. People want stories. People want interesting. But people at the end of the day, when you're scrolling through like video after video after video, and each video could be very different from the other. You could be watching like a TV show and then like a clip from a movie and then like a how to on like doing laundry. Like you could be watching so many different things. So I really think it's really refreshing when you like scrolling through your FYP and you see really juicy, funny stories, but very relatable. And I think that's what you're doing now. And it's so cool. So you started a series of stories about your very wealthy partners in the past. And what made you, I know you're a bit of a private person. What made you like go out and talk about these things and these experiences?
It's my work with it's the work with my psychologist, honestly,
Okay.
because I always, I had this feeling that I have a voice, but I'm not really using it.
Okay.
Like I'm only thinking, okay, if I have a nice voice, I can only use it in singing, right? And I don't know, it was just this feeling that I always wanted. I felt like I have so much to say, and I really want to open up and show people that like the real image, of myself, the real Shabi, not only the pretty picture.
Yeah.
I want them to know about my fails. I want them to know that I'm a human. I just want to, be normal and tell them normal stories. I'm a normal girl. I'm having failed relationship stories. I'm having crazy stories. But also with TikTok, the thing I found about myself, I didn't even know that. I feel like and people tell me I have a talent of storytelling.
You
It's
do.
not just like me telling the story. I really enjoy telling these stories and like,
Yeah.
not it's like I'm trying to share some of my experience, maybe some useful information that people will see and like they will be like, okay, I've seen this somewhere before, I heard this somewhere before, and like educate them more about, like life too, but like in a funny way. So why I'm telling the stories, it's not because I want to tell them, look, oh, I dated the next billionaire. No, it's the lesson that I've learned while being in this relationship. This is the lesson I've learned from that experience. It's just the way I'm telling this to people. It's because this will attract they will give attention to this, right?
They will. And your hooks, Shabi, they're really cool and they're really like you can't not watch the video with your hooks. Like the story about when this and this happened, whatever. And like, okay, I'm pressing play and I'm listening and I'm like not recording, replaying a few times. It's really cool. It's really cool.
See, this is so funny. I think I got this from my mom. My mom is a journalist, okay?
Okay.
So I think I got this from her. Like I've never actually seen her working and like as a journalist. I just knew that my mom is a journalist. She goes to work sometimes and she is like on the TV and on the radio. Um, but I feel like it's just in our genes then, yeah, because it's not that I had like any courses or anything. It was just like, oh, I know how to do this.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. It's weird. Even me sometimes when I'm doing my TikTok, the one thing that I take from my parents when I do content is my parents always taught me to be like careful and cautious, sorry, and like always be aware of what you're saying and what could it mean, whatever. Not in a paranoid type of way, but like always be careful, always be aware of what you're saying, be aware of your audience, be kind, never try to crack jokes while making someone else feel bad. Like I feel like those are the things that like we carry from our parents, and it's
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
weird. It's really weird. We take them into our
And
work.
I'm trying to be that too. Like, remember when I just started, like I was messaging you, I was like, do you think this is all right? Do you think it's too much? Like, is this okay for TikTok? Like, I'm new
No,
to this.
I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect. I was watching like the part one and the part two and the part four. But how did your ex react when he saw like videos of you saying like stories or telling stories? Like, how was the reaction?
He was so mad. I stopped at part three. He was so mad.
Oh,
He kept calling me and messaging me for a few days, like, Yalla, part four. Excuse me, I'm waiting. Why didn't you tell them this? Why didn't you tell them that? There was this good thing that happened, that good thing that happened. Or do you remember that funny thing? Why didn't you tell them that? It
that
was
is so
like
cool.
amazing. I didn't know you're such a good storyteller. Tell
That was
them
so cool.
more.
That is so cool. That is so,
Yeah. He
you know,
probably
Shavi.
wanted my whole TikTok be dedicated to him.
Shavi, I feel like, and even as your friend, even as someone who knows you, and I know who you are, I know you're a really kind person, and I know, especially from the stories that you tell of how you used to like think when you first started modeling, because it's such a vanity focused industry. Sometimes I can see when you tell stories about when you were 21 or 22, and now, like, I can see like the growth and how much you've like really distanced yourself from I don't want to say obsession, but a concentration of just like, okay, looks, no substance. I see so much substance in you. And I'm not saying this just because I'm your friend. Like, really, people really don't get like sometimes the really beautiful girls like have a really beautiful soul to match. Like, just saying. So, how does Shabnam Rakim navigate just love in her life? Like, I don't want to get too personal. I don't want to invade your personal business, but like, how do you handle matters of the heart and like love and romance? What do you look for in a partner? Do you have like a specific type, like A, B, and C, or is it just a connection that you prioritize?
To be honest, that's a very tough question.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I know exactly what I want and I know what exactly that I don't want. But the thing is that I'm am at the point of my life where I decided that I really need time for myself. Because, like I realized as a girl that looks attractive and stuff, it was always so hard for me to be single even when I want to be single. Like it's like I'm always getting attention from men, and sometimes it's just hard to like focus and be like, no, like I said, like I don't want a relationship right now. There's always like, something and someone like shiny and nice that is like trying to like drag you into a relationship. And the funny thing I noticed, whenever I say I don't want a relationship, this is when I meet the perfect man, the perfect guy, like from like my notebook description. Here he comes. Every time I say I need to be focused on myself, I have to do this, I have to work, I have to blah, 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 blah. Like I just need some time to, like get to know myself while being single. What do I like? What do I not like? How I want my life to be. Because most of the times when you're in the relationship, you kind of start like, don't want
Your
to say
lives
blending
start
into someone's life.
interlapping.
Yes, exactly. So like you would have these interests, and then a relationship comes and like it takes you completely to different like place. You know how many times it happened to me? Like I'll be like, oh, I want to move to Saudi.
Oh, okay.
And then I meet the perfect man. And then I'm like, okay, how can I move to Saudi now? Like he's here, I'm there, like it's all new, it's fun, it's
God.
nice. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
let me just put this on pause maybe. So at this point in my life, I'm really trying to just focus on myself.
Okay, okay.
It's really hard, I'll be honest, very, very hard. But this is what I'm trying to do now. But for me, the most important is to be honest, for me to be able to be myself with a person. Because especially when you live in Dubai, you meet a lot of nice guys. Like in Dubai is full of options. Wherever you want, whatever you need. Everyone just is like super good looking, intelligent, has a potential, super smart, nice people.
Everyone's
They're
shiny.
just like everywhere here in Dubai. Everyone is super shiny, yes. It's
No,
very
no,
hard to be single here.
it's very hard. It's very hard. I can
And
only
it's very
imagine
hard to choose.
for any woman to navigate the world and try to find her partner or her next romantic like partner or lover, that can be very difficult. But I feel like Shabi, you have a few like cards stacked, not like obstacles, but you have a few like situations in your life that make it just a bit more difficult. And I think you said something really cool, which is when you're a beautiful woman, a lot of people might think that that's really easy. A lot of times you could be like, as you said, just leave me alone. I don't want to be bothered. And you just cannot not be bothered sometimes. So that's really, I can only imagine
Mm-hmm.
how annoying that gets. Like, and you end up trying to be nice, but then it turns mean, and then you feel bad that it's you're being mean, and it's just like take an answer, take a hint.
No, 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 but like it's totally your responsibility. Like it's okay to be mean sometimes. I mean, because you're not trying to be mean, but how the person is getting the receiving the message and how
Yeah.
the person is reacting is not it's not your responsibility.
Okay. Okay.
You have to protect your boundaries. So if I'm protecting my boundaries and I'm trying to make like myself feel better and feel comfortable, and you're getting upset with that, that's not none of my responsibility.
Have you ever had a
You are
situation?
reacting.
Have you ever had a situation where you had to put someone in place, like check someone, like, hey, no, don't get smart.
If I feel like it's very important and if it's worth my energy, then yes, I will do that. But most of the time, I tend to just, be like, oh, you can just deal with it on your own. Like, I'm not
Good for
investing my
you.
energy in this,
Good for you. Good for you. And
honestly.
and Shabi, what a lot of people don't know about you is you sing. First of all, how dare you? That is not fair. You want to be a fashion model and you want to be a singer? Like that's not fair. We need to discuss this. We need to discuss this. When did you start singing?
What do you mean, when did you start singing? I was born with this.
No, when did
Since
you
I was a
like
baby, I was singing.
when did you start singing like
Um,
covers and like posting about it and like or have you ever done like a show?
no, I haven't done a show, but singing was always part of my life, thanks to
Okay.
my dad. Because
Okay.
my dad was like always into poetry, music. He would write lyrics for the songs. And he was just like, he was loving music. Okay. So we always had music at home. And he had this like little production studio. I feel like, to be honest, everything I do in my life now, it's kind of like because of my parents' influence on me when I was a child and all the support that they gave. But that was like more of like hobbies that I was doing, but they never
Okay.
supported these things as my future, as my career. This was just like for fun. Let her do it for fun. We'll support it. It's her talents and whatever. But as a family, I remember I was like 3, 4 years old. We would like have the karaoke nights at home all the time. If we would have guests over, my dad, we had like two mics. So it's me and my sister. My dad would
Aw.
play the music and stuff. And it's the guests are sitting and they were like, come on, girls, sing for us. So we would just be like, pretending like I was the Shakira and my sister was the Britney Spears. So we would
That is so
sing and
cute.
pretend like we're them. Yeah, and then later on, when we grew up, my dad had a production studio.
Okay.
They were more focused on film, on movies, and they had
Okay.
like a actually a very nice, very good audio studio too. So
Okay.
whenever the studio would be free, open, we would just spend the nights there in summer, me and my sister, recording covers. We covered, I feel like, every single Rihanna song in that studio. And
You, what's your favorite
yeah, like, see,
song to cover? I need to know like what's your favorite, like you said Rihanna, what's your favorite Rihanna song to cover? Because Rihanna, that's vocals. That's vocals right there.
my favorite would be Unfaithful because that was the first cover we did in the studio. And we just like, I don't know, it's just here in my heart now.
Okay,
It's
okay,
just the
okay. That's a good choice.
memories. My dad, 3 a.m. Can you imagine? Like some kids are sleeping. Some kids are like, I don't know, like doing like other stuff in summer. And me, I'm always like, Daddy, take me to the studio with you. No, I'm not going to sleep. No, I don't want to go to the pool. No, I don't want any of that. I don't want to play in the kindergarten or whatever. I want to come with daddy to work. I want to
Oh,
be
that
at
is
the
so
studio with
sweet.
him. So whenever even they would film movies and stuff, I'll be like, please, dad, give me a job, give me a position. I was like 13 or 14. I was like, just give me a tiny, like a small role in the movie. And he actually gave me a role once.
You got
I
a
was a
role in a
bodyguard, a
movie?
female bodyguard. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was
Wait,
very young. I was 14. I remember the other girls were like 18, 19, and they were also playing the role of a female bodyguard.
okay.
And I was the only girl that was like 14. And then it
Really?
was like a small role, yeah. So we had like only five shooting days, and the whole movie was like filmed in, I don't know, maybe 6 months or something. But I would show up on set every single day. I would pretend like I'm stylist assistant, makeup artist assistant, or I'm my dad's assistant. I'm whatever you want, but
I
I'm
just
here
want
on
to be
set and
here.
I'm working with you.
That is so cute. That is so cute.
So yeah, this is how. So do you see the thing with storytelling on TikTok? It's actually me overcoming my trauma, my childhood trauma,
Oh,
because I had this, yeah, which was like even stop. Did you notice? Like I wasn't posting a lot of singing. Like I will post something like once a year, and that's it. Everyone says like it's so good, you should sing, but I just felt like like there was something within me that would like was stopping me from like speaking out,
mm,
from talking on the videos, to just like using my voice.
of course, of course.
Because my younger sister, my parents thought that she was like much better in singing and like music and like those kind of things. And me as a as an eldest daughter, my dad was always looking at me at like, like the eldest son. Like she has
Oh,
to like continue what I'm doing, the
yeah.
business, and like she's like smart because I was really good in school. I was the best in class. So because I was
Oh,
like
wow.
smart, my parents thought that okay, so she's smart, she's good at school, so she's probably not like into like arts and stuff much. She has to continue the business. And then my other sister, she's like more into playing instruments and stuff. Recently, I was working on this trauma with my psychologist, and to be honest, it completely changed me. Like this one session changed so much in my life. So this was this childhood trauma that I found out about. Um, where was this thing that I told you that my parents wanted me to be this, and I was
Mm,
actually that.
yeah.
And that was always like I felt like maybe because my parents are pushing my sister more towards singing and like this music stuff, and um, I was more of like she is for singing, and you're not good as good in this. Maybe you should do that. And that caused some trauma because I was thinking like, okay, if my parents, and they're the two most important people in my life, don't think that I'm good enough for this, then I will definitely grow up thinking like, just, thinking
Oh,
like, oh, maybe I'm actually not good enough for this. But
oh.
of course they didn't mean that, and they were not
Yeah.
trying to like put this trauma in my head or whatever. And also while I was working on trauma, I also remembered a few situations with my auntie when I was younger.
Mm.
So basically most of your traumas in childhood build up till age of 5, 4 or 5. So when I was younger, my auntie just did like a few small things that affected me so much in my life.
Okay.
until I fixed it like recently, like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Yeah. So she was a
Oh,
etiquette
wow.
teacher. And sometimes she would just tell me like, Shabi, you don't laugh like that. A girl is not supposed to laugh like that. You're supposed to laugh beautifully, like ha ha ha, or like you're speaking too loud, or like you shouldn't speak when the elder people are speaking. You should think twice before you say something. And if
Oh,
I say something, she would be like, did you even think of like what you're saying? So that made me so cautious about what I say and where I say things. And it really affected a lot of aspects of my life. Not only like singing and storytelling or whatever, even like my relationships with my friends and men. For
yeah,
example, now that I healed this trauma, I feel like I'm feeling more confident even to just speak about my feelings with someone and to like to protect my boundaries. Like before, I remember if I'm not liking something, I'll be like, um, maybe it's not nice to say no right now. I was like, like thinking twice before I say something. And I would be like, if I'm not sure about what I'm talking about, I'd rather say nothing at all.
of
And
course.
I'll
Okay.
be like, oh, until my English is not perfect, or like I'm not really smart about this, or I'm not really sure about this information. So it's better if I just stay quiet. So I was also thinking like, if my singing, my vocals are still not perfect, then I'd rather not sing at all for now.
Oh,
So it was like always, oh, I need the classes. I need to work on this first. I need to do this. I need to blah blah blah, and then I'll start. So it's always like later, tomorrow, tomorrow when I'm better.
I'm
But
sorry, Shabi.
you'll never reach that perfection. And it also like, see, it also made me this perfectionist. So I would never start something unless I would know like I'm perfect at this. I'm gonna be the best at this.
Of course. Have you
So this
ever
is only
had?
one
Oh,
session.
oh my God. No, no, no. I'm sorry to
People
interrupt you, but
underestimate psychology, honestly. They
oh,
really
absolutely,
underestimate
absolutely.
psychology. This only one session that I worked on, this one trauma from my childhood. And people like sometimes they'll be like, why do you think like that situation in your childhood could affect your life this much? But then when you are in therapy and you remember that moment and you go back to that moment, I wouldn't even think of this moment if it was just like my normal day-to-day life, if it wasn't a therapy, if she didn't bring me back to these memories that were stored in my subconscious mind.
Hmm.
I felt so much pain. I was crying so much, like
Oh,
for an hour.
oh,
So only then you realize, like, oh, it was actually like sitting in me, like it was somewhere there. And I didn't even know about this for 28 years, imagine. And then 2 hours of therapy, and I changed everything in my life. The new projects that I'm starting, like it's opening up the new doors in me because now I feel confident to speak up. And speak up is not only about singing and storytelling, it's about a lot of things in your life
of course. It's everything. It's
to
how
just
you
be able
navigate
to be
the.
you.
Yes,
Yes.
it's even the way you interact with people and you talk to them, they start to notice you sort of like just opening up and being more like the best way I could describe it is your feet are more planted firmly on the ground. Like you're more grounded
Hmm.
than before because you have a stronger sense of self.
Yeah.
And isn't that
Hmm.
scary when life is just smooth, not smooth sailing, but like you're just on cruise control and then something happens that triggers something you had no idea was inside of you and you're crying and you have this intense wave. Isn't that scary? Isn't that terrifying?
It is scary, but I feel like it's very important to find you like a person that you're very comfortable to work with. Like, for example,
Of
my
course.
therapist, I've been working with her. She's, I don't know, my therapist number five or something, because I've been in therapy for many years now. And
Same, same.
I've been working with her for 2 years now. And it's amazing to work with her. It's just like even knowing that there is a person that will accept you the way you are, no matter if you're crying, you're angry, and you feel like you want to kill someone at the moment, and you tell her everything and zero judgment, and she's there for you and she accepts you the way you are. Only that is also like the best feeling from therapy.
Of
Like sometimes
course.
I'm ready to just pay for that, to just be able to sit with someone and be like,
Yes.
oh, she will
Yes.
accept like all the dirt I'm gonna give her. She's not gonna judge me even for a second. And you just need to find the right person, a good therapist that is not gonna judge you, that is very professional, because a therapist should never judge anyone, and they should never give you an advice. They should only help you to work with your own like subconscious mind. And um, like actually when you're in therapy, you're doing most of the work yourself, and she's just there like holding your hand and like gradually guiding you into all your memories and healing process.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's something that a
But
lot
it's
of people,
amazing. It really changes your life.
of course it is. I feel like that's something that a lot of people don't realize is when you go to therapy, most like, and this sounds really awful and it might sound really discouraging to anyone who's thinking of exploring therapy. Most of the time, the first therapist you deal with, that's not going to be the person that's like, that you're going to work with and feel comfortable with. And that's okay.
Ali, the first therapist I've worked with, she almost killed my identity. I've been working with her for a year. She's an amazing woman, but she's just like not the right person for me, for the personality that I have, because all human beings are different. And you always should know, like, you have to find the right instruments to work with a different person, and you don't have to try to put everyone and like make them like how the surgeons are, they make
Yeah,
everyone look
yeah.
like Kim Kardashian.
Yeah,
A therapist can't be like that because every person is unique in their own way, and we have our own path and uh, our personalities, which are amazing and unique. And you don't want to just like change it and like into like this standard type, like, oh, this is how you should be. So what she was trying to like, honestly, like it was a tough year for me. I almost got married. I almost quit my job and
oh my
everything because
God.
of this therapist. Honestly, it's
Oh
so
my
funny
God.
now, but I mean, it was hard. Yeah, she was trying to make me this wifey material, yeah, like a perfect
Oh,
woman, a perfect wife. But we live in a different world now that we need to have both feminine. She was working mostly, not mostly, only on my feminine side, but you also need to have the masculine side. If you don't have the masculine side, you cannot go out in this world and achieve things and protect yourself and be self-sufficient. No, like even when you have a man, you have to be sure about yourself. Like, yeah, I have him to protect me, but if he's not there, I can protect myself.
of
I can provide
course.
for
Of
myself.
course. That's
When I
amazing.
was working with that therapist, I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna get married. I'm not gonna do anything, just gonna bring babies.
It's so
And
scary.
that brought me into attracting, don't want to say toxic, but like kind of maybe toxic for me, like people
Okay.
that were toxic for me,
Okay.
because this is not who I am. I was not raised like that. I didn't come to this world like that. I love what I'm doing. I love to work. I love to create. I love the freedom. I like to express myself through clothes. And like, I can never tolerate someone coming to me and be like, no, you're not wearing this. You're not friends with these people. You're not
Okay.
this and that. It's just not me. It's
Yeah, of
okay
course.
to some people. I'm not judging. It's totally fine. Like, there are some people that will be like so happy in this kind of relationship. Yeah. Being uh, just this feminine, super, super feminine woman. It's totally all right. But it's
Okay.
just not me.
Of course. Of course. And I feel like it's weird because I feel like that's something that happens to a lot of girls. They meet someone and it's like, I love you and I'll take care of you. But you sort of, I've had a few female friends that have told me that after they got out of a certain relationship, like it's like you said, it's not necessarily super toxic and super abusive. It's not unhealthy in that way. But when they left, they realized like, wait, he was trying to make me more like the way he wanted me to be, not the way I wanted myself to be. And
Yes,
that's just,
exactly.
it creeps you out.
I remember I moved to this toxic relationship, and that psychologist and go to the events alone. Like, if there's no one coming with me, like sometimes even if they're confident and who you are, so it's like so hard. Like, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go to this event, but who am I? What am I gonna say? Like, what
Yeah.
am I gonna show them?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it really, really affects you. So it's so important to find the right psychologist for you.
My God, Shabi, you've been through a lot, and you're not even you're Shabi. We're almost 30. We're almost 30.
Excuse me, no, I'm still 28. No, no,
We're
no, no, no.
we,
I'm still not 28. But I'm actually so excited for 30. I am.
same,
I am very, very excited for
same, same.
30.
I keep telling my
Yeah.
friends. I feel like the
I'm very
most
excited for
beautiful.
life in general.
That's a good like output to have. I keep telling my friends I'm super excited to be 30. Like I feel like some of the best years of my life are like waiting for me in my 30s, because it's like 20s are a mess. 20s are just a mess. You have to learn who you are.
For some people, by the way, oh my God, the new generation is completely different. I'm like my sister, my youngest sister, she is 22. She's married. She has a kid. She has a child.
MashaAllah, wow.
I have a nephew now. I love him so much. I'm obsessed with this boy, honestly. Like the amount of happiness he brings into my life by just like, like I just the first thing I do in the morning before I would like meditate and stuff. Now, the first thing I do in the morning, I take my phone, I open a video that she sends me every morning or a picture, and I just stare at that picture and it just makes my day, I swear.
That is so cute. That is so cute. Are
And
you a
he looks so
fun
much like
auntie?
me.
I was just about
I
to say,
am.
are you a fun auntie, or are you like, let's go, like mom says no snacks, but you give him like candy and like sweets like behind her back? Do you do that?
I'm definitely that auntie. I'm that rich auntie that lives abroad that will say yes to everything.
You're the auntie that will help them sneak out in the middle of the night.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I was also the fun sister. Like
Okay.
sometimes I would even feel like my connection with my siblings was even stronger than their connection with my parents
Okay.
because like even my parents sometimes they would call me and be like, oh, like I don't want them to do this, can you just explain this and blah blah, and they would only listen to me. Like we don't do that anymore because everyone is grown up and we have the boundaries. I would never give them any advices or like try to be too much in their business unless they come to me and they ask me for help and advice. Like we have very, very strong boundaries in our family with everyone, with our parents,
That's
with
healthy.
the siblings. Yeah, but we're also working on that. It took a few years for that too. At some point I was feeling like I'm their mom. So imagine the responsibility I had as a 23-year old
Yeah.
living alone in a different like in Bahrain, and it's which is not my country, and then
Yeah.
having the panic attacks, anxiety, so much work, so much life drama and stuff. And then I'm also a mom of three.
Oh my God, that is I mean, I'm the older sibling, but I feel like in my family we didn't really play the card of like oldest or like we
Yeah.
like the hierarchy of siblings. That was never a thing in our household. If you had something that I wanted, then I'll listen to you. But other than that, no, I'm just like on my own. I'm doing my own thing. But Shabi, do you ever want to be a mom?
Of course, not just a mom. I want to have a lot of kids. I want to have minimum three kids, minimum. But like
Minimum?
my dream is to have five. Yes,
You want to have a basketball team?
I
What?
love kids. Anything they want to be, honestly. Team anything, whatever they want to be.
Really?
Yes.
You would change diapers and like take like to practice and like music lessons and like
Yes, of course. What do you mean? No, of course I will delegate a lot of things too because I want to be the healthy mom, the happy
okay, okay.
mom, the
Of
healthy
course.
mom.
So Shabi is the cool mom. She's gonna take her kids to soccer practice. She's gonna be changing three diapers at once, and she's gonna have help. And she's gonna be the cool mom who drops her kids off to school and then goes to a photo shoot. That's the life.
Definitely, definitely. Yes. This is what I see when I'm visualizing, my future and stuff. I see a lot of kids,
I see you having
a
twins,
lot of kids.
Shabi. I for some reason I see you having twins.
Oh my God. I don't mind.
I know a lot of people that say they really want
That's gonna be
twins.
hard.
Very hard, very hard, very difficult. But yeah, we need to.
I'm not sure if I want twins. I was thinking about that at some point. I was like, if I'm older when I'm getting kids, then that's an easier option to just,
Mm,
like make two babies at once. And it's easier, like one time pregnancy, and then you already have two kids.
yeah. Okay.
but but I feel like it's a little bit hard for twins. It's like there are some like good sides, but I don't know, like later on I would feel so bad when they separate, get married, or like, like start living their own lives. I feel like it's just so hard to separate them.
I feel like twins have this forever like bond between them, whether they get separated physically
Yeah.
or like they start new lives. I feel like they get like I have twins in my family and like cousins and stuff like that, but they're always like really close. They're always like very like close and they get along and they're really cool.
Yes, I have some like friends that are twins and they live in like different countries, but they're like, if she's going through something, I feel it.
Oh, like the empath version.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So
Shabi.
I
So
don't know if I'm ready to deal with this.
no, I
I'm
think
not
you'd be
sure.
great. I think you'd be great. You know why? And I'm not just saying this because like I'm your friend, but I feel like you would have the perfect balance of like being like a disciplinary parent. Like, no, this is for your safety. This is for your best interest. You can't do this. You like no means no. But at the same time, I feel like you'd be such a gentle parenting style. Your parenting style would be so gentle. Like I'm your parent. I feel like you would be really amazing at like sheltering your kids or like making them feel safe.
Yes, I feel like that too because my siblings are younger than me, and I always felt like I'm the responsible one. I'm like the parent figure for them, and as I see what they turn into, what kind of people they are, I feel like I did a good job, you know?
No, no, I
I
totally
always
agree.
like instead of saying no, you can't do this, I would tell them, please go try and see if you're gonna like this and succeed. But I would also give them another option. I was like, listen, like I don't think this is the right thing for you to do, and also you can maybe try this option. But I would never stop them from trying things because this is what happened to me. My parents were very strict. They were limiting me on a lot of stuff and I remember like what it was causing. Like it caused them a lot of drama, me a lot of drama. So I feel like it was much easier with my siblings where we had boundaries and respect to their boundaries and their freedom.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I see their life now, it's like it's way easier for them.
That's so true. I remember like as a kid, like certain rules or like strictness that your parents had, you can almost see what that made you do. You can almost see the cause and effect. Like because my parents were super strict, that's why I snuck out at 16 and like was like driving around the house and like stole the car and whatever. So like it's weird. You can
Yeah.
see it. You can almost see like a connection. And
See,
it's weird.
I have
Oh,
this talent, by the way. I
what?
see the cause and effect in everything.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can literally meet someone and see what they say, and then I'll be like, this will happen to them in like 2 days just because they're acting this way.
That
I
sounds
swear
like
to God, this is one
that's
of my strongest talents, I would say. Like if I see my friends acting a certain way, I'll just come up to them and be like, did your parents do this when you were younger? And they'll be
oh
like,
my
oh my God, how
God.
do you know? Like I could be like a really good psychologist just because of this. Like I don't really want to work with people one on one like therapies and stuff. I'm more
Mm,
into like life coaching. But
okay.
this talent I feel like will help me because I'll be like, okay, you probably have this trauma. So maybe you should work with a therapist on this
Mm,
first and then come
mm.
back to me and then we'll help you figure out your future.
Okay. So Shabi, I want to end this with two things. I want you to please tell us what exciting projects you have in the future because I know that you mentioned psychology a lot throughout this like episode. I really want to hear what you have with that. And then I have like a question of advice I want to ask you. So please let us know what the incredible Shabnam Rakim is working on.
I'm working a lot of things right now. I am working on my social media, TikTok, content creating stuff. I started studying life coaching. I'm gonna get my first certificate this year, December.
That is
Yes,
amazing.
but I'm not gonna stop there. Yeah, and I'm doing a lot of other courses also at the same time.
Okay.
I'm currently working on my brand of something. I'm gonna tell you guys about it
Ooh,
later.
ooh.
Yes, that's very exciting too. And I'll be definitely working on my podcast too. And thank you so much, Ali. You supported me at this. I feel like you kind of also gave me the push and,
Of
like, yes, Shabi, you
course.
can do it.
Of course.
So, yes, we're doing that and a lot of exciting things that I'm working on with my sister, that is a professional psychologist.
Oh wow. I love your
So,
sister.
there's a lot going on.
I'm already a fan.
I love her too.
I'm already a fan.
I'm her biggest fan too. Thank you so much, Ali.
Of course. And Shabna, I want to, from like friend to friend, I wanted to see if you had any advice for me. Actually, you mentioned in the beginning of the episode something that really like resonated with me, which is when people started to recognize you, and that made you feel very self-conscious. Now, Shabi, I don't think I'm anywhere near famous, but I think because of my audience is like in my region. Like I live in Riyadh, and a lot of people that follow me are in Riyadh or in Jeddah. So I find myself a lot of the times when I go, I'll be like, "Hi, you're the person from TikTok, whatever," and that makes me. First of all, it's the biggest compliment in the world. when someone like approaches you and
Hmm.
tells you that not only do they watch your stuff, but
I
they
feel
like
you.
it. They
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
But the self-consciousness, Shabi, and like the anxiety of like you get like trapped in your bubble. So I wanted to ask you, what advice do you have for me to like stay grounded and just like not let it get into my head?
It's probably something like imposter syndrome, right? I had this
Oh,
too. Like you
absolutely.
feel like, oh, am I even good
Absolutely.
enough? Like, like what is it? Like, what did they find in my videos and stuff?
Absolutely.
Well, I'm not a psychologist to like go deep in your traumas and stuff, but
Mm.
there's definitely like something from your childhood that makes you feel like this.
Okay. Oh, absolutely.
Like it's a
Oh,
hundred
absolutely.
percent. Yeah, but you should just know that you're amazing. You are doing amazing. And I
Thank
guess
you.
you just need more people from, in this case, to have very supportive friends or like family, like someone you can go to whenever you're feeling this way and just talk to them and be like, see, like I did this and this and that, and just let them tell you their honest opinion. Just like hearing their opinion about the things you're doing, about how amazing you are, will help you a lot.
That is great. That is
It's just
great.
this thing that like you need mentally. You just need
Yeah.
that. Like there are some people that have like a certain needs. So like someone like me and you that are in social media, we want, why do we do this? We do this because we want reactions. So it's very important for us to get a positive reaction. That is what is giving us confidence and the motivation to do more. So you just have to take the responsibility because no one owes you anything and they don't have to come to you and like be like, oh, Ali, you're amazing. So you have to take the responsibility and you have to know like who are those people you can go to and be like, listen, I this did this and that. I did this. This is like a very good job. What do you think? And blah blah. And
Hmm.
just listen to what they say, or just ask them. Be like, I just need you to tell me something good about what I'm doing right now. I just need this, and it's normal that you need this approval, kind of something.
Of course, of course. It's like almost
Yeah.
asking someone to be like, can you reassure me and tell me that I'm gonna be okay? Like,
Yes. Yes. There are some people that really need this, especially people that are in social media and people that are living on reactions, like it's reactions are very important to us. It's feeding our energy.
oh, of course. And the gratification and it becomes addicting.
Yes.
And that's so true. I mean, the imposter syndrome is so real. And I do find myself thinking that sometimes like, why do they like me? Like, why do they say that they enjoy my work? Like, you find yourself like asking yourself these questions and low key like doubting yourself. So definitely a support system, definitely a
Yes,
support
I'm
system.
I'm exactly at the same point in my life right now where I'm having this syndrome. I'm having exact feelings. So I'm actually having a therapy with my psychologist on
Hmm.
Tuesday on this topic.
Oh wow, I need to get
Because
back to.
literally like 2 days ago, I was like at home, I was just sitting because I just agreed to like two or three new projects, something that I've never done before,
Okay.
something so new to me. And I agreed to them. And those people told me you are the perfect fit for this. But then after the conversation with them, I spent a whole day at home just sitting like this and thinking like, why did I even agree? Like, can I actually do this?
Yeah.
Like what's going on? So
That
yeah.
is insane. That is insane. Okay, Shabi, I think we've reached like
So
the
I'm gonna
end. Thank you
thank you
so
so much. I really enjoyed this, honestly. It was so much fun. I'm
thank
really, really
you.
happy that uh, I was able to share my experience, and talk about stuff like this, like be very open
Of course.
and
Of course.
be myself. Thank you for letting me be myself, Ali.
Of course. No, thank you for being like the first guest. I know we've run into a few technical difficulties and I'm really sorry about that. But thank you so much, Shabi. This is a huge deal for me that my first
Thank
guest is
you.
actually a friend and that it's you. That's so amazing. And yeah, where can people find you on your
Honored.
socials?
They can find me on TikTok and Instagram. I go by Shabi underscore Rakim.
Thank you so much, Shabi, and
Yes.
I'll see you soon.
Thank you for having me, Ali. See
Of
you.
of course. Bye and bye
Bye.
everyone.